Hi everyone, this is the Zeeve Rollup day, and I have Tom from Fluence with me, and they're building decentralized compute cloud.
Yes.
So, why do you think having a decentralized cloud or compute is important in this era of Web3?
Oh, where do I get started? So we're a decentralized compute platform, and that has a couple of key attributes. First, there's no single point of failure, so technically it's solid. Second is you're not subject to censorship the way you are in a centralized cloud. Amazon has an 80-page term of service that you could be cut off for any reason. But what I think is very tangible is we're about 80% cheaper than the centralized cloud. So that's very important. And the last piece is that it's an open network. You can shift providers with no cost, no delay, no friction. And so we think that is a huge attribute. So I think people come to us because the pricing is low, and then they recognize all the other attributes, and that makes a compelling value proposition.
Oh, fantastic. And every time we talk about cloud, Amazon's name come up front. But I believe that comparing something like this with Amazon doesn't make sense. These are very different models altogether, though of course in the end the offering is same, but it's the network of providers which you're building, I believe. So how do you see this this is going to be the paradigm shift where the whole transformation from centralized cloud providers to the decentralized cloud providers would happen, and how many years would you think it'll take?
Listen, there's a bunch of questions embedded there. The way I look at this is it took us, we started off with mainframes in specific company data centers.
Got it.
That moved eventually to outsource data centers and then to the cloud, right? That shift took a while. The next generation, we think the final, is a decentralized cloud. And I think you're there because it's open, it's more resilient, and it's cheaper. And you basically are being able to use excess compute for this excess compute. And because you can shift very easily, there's no pricing power. So it always will go to the lowest cost provider. That's a very difficult model for a centralized company to compete against. Now what they can do, and what Amazon has done, is built an incredibly deep list or menu of services.
Yes.
These are compelling services. We cannot replicate their stack anytime soon. We're not trying to, but in an open ecosystem, you can have the whole developer community chip away and build up a competing form of services. And the analogy we look at is Linux and Windows, right? Linux started after Windows had spent billions of dollars and spent a decade building Windows as the leading operating system, and Linux was able to beat it. I'm not sure Fluence is the Linux, but a decentralized competitor is the only shot we have of supplanting the cloud oligopolies. And it's just a question of time and which model resonates best with the open source community.
Right, it makes sense. And what message do you have for the operators or the node operators who can participate on this decentralized compute cloud, and what they have to what kind of things they'll benefit from?
So importantly, and this is a key part of our value proposition, we launched with 6 top-tier data center providers. So the compute on Fluence is run out of top-tier data centers like the Switch facility outside of Las Vegas. Like this is where the top Web 2 companies operate. We're not using a network of retail PCs. And we would love to involve a wider part of the community, but we need to first prove and demonstrate that we have the resilience that the market demands for enterprise use cases. As we get there, we will add more wider variety of hardware from a wider number of partners over time. But we are starting with industrial corporate scale compute from proven data centers that are used for top Web 2 companies right now.
It makes super sense, and thank you for being here. These were real insights, which we needed on, the decentralized cloud concept and the whole theory about it with Web3. But I think everybody will love to see you on the panel as well in a while, next short while.
Looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.